Look, we've made it from all the Vlogmases.
All the way to like sophomore
all the way now.
We are here, living it up.
Cause I'm icy, wifey, haters wanna fight me. Never been the one get argued.
I'm pleased to welcome you to version A of the 119th commencement exercises of Marist School, marking the graduation of the class of 2020.
4 months in the making. We're finally here at the moment that everyone has waited for, but nobody knew exactly how it would come. As I'm sure everybody in the stadium's heard, time and time again, the year 2020 has struck like a boxer's unrelenting blows to the head, starting with the Australian bushfires, the loss of Kobe Bryant, the COVID-19 pandemic, the cancellation of all school events, something about murder hornets, and nationwide protests against racial injustice in the wake of George Floyd's death. So, a lot to digest in just the first half of the year. While attempting to write this speech, I thought over and over again, how could I possibly encapsulate everything that's happened and share some insight that's relevant to the world right now? In the grand scheme of things, I felt small and insignificant. There's just so much going on. What could I contribute that even matters? One phrase that stuck in my head after seeing it keep popping up on social media was, "Oh, I'm definitely not the same person I was before quarantine." A joke statement referring to exercise or TV habits, maybe social interactions too. But as I stand before you today, I feel confident that I and we are all not the same people we were back 4 months ago in March, headed out the doors for spring break, expecting to re-enter the gates and resume our normal lives in a week's time. And yes, while some of us have changed in terms of a new hairstyle or a hobby like baking, what we've experienced since March has maybe left us with a different view of the world. Let's take a step back. We all went to school as kids, being told we could do whatever we wanted. You know the story. We'd say, a firefighter, an astronaut, the president. Endless possibilities. We got a little older, and things were the same. One of you could find the cure for cancer, discover intelligent life on another planet. Basically, we knew that in some way, we had the power to change the world. Now, as we graduate, I've heard so many people tell me that our class, this generation, will be totally shaped by the pandemic and the protests. We'll be motivated to think differently, live differently, act differently, and again, we'll change the world. And those sentiments give us a lot of hope and praise. But I know they also give us a lot of pressure. What I want to shed light on is the fear of how hard it will be to live up to those expectations. During our time here, Marist has given us many ways to be inspired. I've seen so many of you driven by your gut feelings, your passions, and your desires for life. We've successfully finished the difficult task of balancing all our rigorous academics with our major time commitments of athletics and extracurriculars. Making it to this point shows our dedication, our work ethic, and our quality of character. Our class has so much that we can achieve. Yet my biggest worry is that we will go out into the world with our big dreams and our high hopes, only to stumble and drop them once we confront a challenge outside the Marist gates. once we reach that dreaded realization that so many eager changemakers run into. The phrase, "That's just not how the world works." And so, I urge you, please don't fall into the trap of thinking that everything we've been told we can achieve by parents, teachers, coaches, and mentors. Don't think that the impact that each of us can make on the world simply disappears once you make it to the real world. Don't lose sight of your goals because they seem unrealistic. Don't change your major or your career path because it doesn't feel practical enough. And don't accept defeat when trying to change some system or status quo because you're told that's just not the way it's always been done in the real world. If you're ever in doubt, as I'm sure we'll all question ourselves at some point, look to where we are now, what we've experienced, and how we've grown since March. We've found creative solutions to change our way of life and stay connected during an unprecedented pandemic. And we've made our voices be heard through global protests seeking real change, all before we've hit the real world. Everyone in that real world is a person just like you, a person just as capable of change as you. Don't underestimate yourself. We already are in the real world. Look no further than the past 4 months to prove it. Class of 2020, I'm proud to be among you. Congratulations.
Emma Caroline McEvoy.
Rumble. He's gonna burst a blood vessel because I dissed his wife.
Don't you like it when these diamonds look like wristbands? I'm a little closer, sexy boy, and scratch, skip a little.